Am I the asshole for not shaving my legs before a date and making him uncomfortable? I, 26 female, went on a second date with a guy. I wore a mini dress and didn't shave my legs, they weren't super hairy. Just a bit visible up close, ... I just didn't feel like it and don't always do it unless I want to. The date was nice, but later he texted, next time, maybe smooth legs. I felt kinda weird about that. My friend said I should have shaved because it's early dating, but I don't think I should change my body for someone I barely know.
Am I the asshole for poking fun at my cousin's divorce after she insulted my wedding? I, 29 female, got married at 20. My husband and I were young, desperately in love, and super broke. I was never one to want a big wedding, so we kept it small. I will admit, my cousin, 36F, helped a ton with the decorations. I'm not one to be super into that stuff. I was fine with it just looking a little plain, but she wanted to make the day special for me, and I appreciated it. I sang her praises the entire day, paid her for helping me after the fact, and literally made a speech the day of the wedding how grateful I was for her. I should also note she got married a few months before me in an extremely lavish, extremely expensive wedding. Her wedding day was actually perfect and everyone still talks about it. However, she got divorced about 4 years ago. I'm unsure what has caused this, but now any time we are together she makes fun of my wedding. She mocks how small it was. She mocks how corny the venue was. She insults my bridesmaids and my husband's family, and how useless they were the day of. I normally don't react because honestly I don't care about her opinion. However, today we are at a large Father's Day gathering with all my family. From the second she saw me, she started ragging on my wedding to her new boyfriend. I'm not sure, but something in my brain just flipped and I said back to her, well, at least I'm still married. Everyone in my family is upset with me. They said I went below the belt with that comment, but absolutely no one has ever checked her for insulting me over and over and over. Am I the asshole for telling a man's wife the truth about his relationship with me? A few weeks ago, I reconnected with a guy the first used to date, very casually. He told me he was divorced, lonely, and still healing. We started talking again, flirting, and it seemed like he wanted to rekindle things. He asked to be friends on Facebook. Later, I got curious and checked his profile. He had blocked me, which was weird, so I looked deeper, and I found his wife's profile. Not ex-wife. Wife. Still married. Still living together. No sign of separation. Meanwhile, he had been spinning the story that they were long done, but she just hadn't accepted it yet. I sat with it for a bit. I didn't want drama, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she deserved to know. So I messaged her. Calmly, kindly, told her what I knew and what he'd said to me. She responded thankful, calm, and not surprised. Turns out she had her suspicions. My friends are divided. Some say I should have stayed out of it. Others say I did the right thing.
Am I the asshole for reminding my dad's wife that she was supposed to be my mom's best friend but instead was a backstabber who cheated with her best friend's husband? I, 17 male, live in a toxic household. So my parents were married and seemed happy when everything fell apart. My mom found out she had a brain tumor and on that same day she found out my dad was sleeping with her best friend. I was 10 at the time and for like 5 weeks life was crazy with my dad and Haley, who was meant to be my mom's best friend, trying to make her forgive them. My mom started having seizures because of the tumor and I think because of the stress too, and she died 5 weeks and 2 days after she was diagnosed with her brain tumor. My dad and Haley moved in together after my mom died, and they decided they would try to raise me and my sister together. My sister was 8 at the time, and my dad has said she took her cues from me, but we did not accept Dad and Haley and we acted up a lot. I yelled at them, called them names, refused to listen when they asked me to do something, and I told other people what they'd done. All of Dad's friends, all of Haley's friends and our neighbors knew, and mostly because of me. I interrupted their wedding a bunch. My sister did, but not as much. We wanted to live somewhere else and they refused. They got us all into therapy and I didn't put any work into fixing things. My dad and Haley had 2 kids and I refused help or care. I make a point of telling or showing what they are and what I think of them. For my dad that meant cutting him out of photos, and I say every now and again that I'll change my last name to Mom. She never changed hers when they married. And I talk about my maternal grandpa being the man I want to be most like because he's the best guy I know. But with Haley, I remind her every time that she was supposed to be Mom's best friend and she was a backstabber who cheated with my dad instead. And I do this in front of other people if she tries to act like my parent or take praise for my good behavior around other people. She told me I need to stop bringing it up several times, but I ignore her. I tell her I won't ever stop. Her aunt died last week and she told me I needed to help out around the house more while she was with her mom and her cousins. I refused and she told me this is what the oldest sibling and oldest child does, and I reminded her I wasn't hers and brought up the affair again. She broke down and I told her I didn't feel sorry for her, and she told me she felt guilty enough and like Mom haunted her enough, and she said I was doing nothing but driving her crazy and making her feel like she had to isolate from everyone because otherwise the whole world would know with the way I act. She told me I was bullying her and that I should go after Dad and not her. I told her I'll go after both until I can cut them out of my life for good. Then I told her she didn't deserve to have a happy life after what she did. My aunt Dad's sister came over after Haley called her and she asked me to stop bringing it up. She told me Haley and my dad don't need to be forgiven, but that reminding Haley like this and shaming her and making it difficult for her to have relationships where people won't know and judge isn't okay because the kids she and Dad have together will suffer.
Am I the asshole for feeling it's unfair that my wife expects me to do half the housework when I already pay for almost everything? My wife, 30 to female, and I, 30 for male, are both working professionals. We've been married for 4 years. While we both have jobs, I end up contributing around 90% of the household expenses: rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, you name it. She contributes maybe 10%, which she acknowledges, but says it's because I earn a bit more. Fair enough, I don't mind paying more, and I've never thrown it in her face. However, where I'm beginning to struggle is the division of household chores. She expects me to contribute at least 50% to the cooking, cleaning, laundry, etc. She says since we both work, it's only fair. But here's the thing, I'm already shouldering almost the entire financial load, and I also have a pretty demanding job with long hours. After a full day, I come home and still end up doing dishes, cooking dinner on alternate days, or doing laundry. I've tried having conversations about this, saying I'm exhausted and feel like I'm carrying the weight of two people financially and domestically. Her response is always that she's tired too and that helping out at home is part of being an equal partner. Again, I understand and agree, but why doesn't that logic apply to the financial part too? It's not that I don't want to help at home. I've always been the kind of guy who believes in equal responsibilities. But if one partner is contributing significantly more financially and also doing close to half the housework, isn't that just too much? Lately, I've been feeling burnt out. I can't remember the last time I had a full day where I wasn't either working or doing chores. Meanwhile, she gets time to relax, meet friends, or just unwind. When I bring this up, she gets defensive and says I'm making it sound like she does nothing, which is not my intention at all. I just feel like the current setup is unsustainable and emotionally draining for me. I don't want to start resenting her, but I'm getting there.
Am I the asshole for telling my husband's sister to mind her business about my clothes? Okay, so this has been building up for a while. I've been trying so hard not to explode, but I honestly don't know how much more I can take before I lose it. I'm 24, I stay at home most days because I work remote, and I like to wear comfy clothes, shorts, tank tops, oversized tees. Sometimes just a loose dress if it's hot. I'm not trying to impress anyone, I'm just at home. That's it. No audience, no reason to dress like I'm going to church. But here's where it gets messy. My husband's sister moved in with us about 2 months ago. She's 28, no job right now, just figuring things out or whatever. And ever since she came into the picture, it's been nonstop comments from her. At first, it was little things like, "You're still in that? Isn't that kind of revealing? You know, there's men in this house, right?" As if I'm walking around naked in front of guests. It's literally just me, my husband, and now her. I tried brushing it off. Like, okay, maybe she's conservative, maybe she's just weird about clothes. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, but she kept pushing. Started making passive-aggressive jokes in front of my husband, like, "Wow, I could never wear something like that. I respect myself too much. Your wife really loves attention, huh?" And he just sat there, didn't say a word, not once. I asked him in private if he could talk to her. He told me she's just being protective. She means well. Protective of who? Me. From what comfortable fabric? Last week was my breaking point. I came down for breakfast in a loose crop top and pajama shorts. My husband wasn't even home, just me and her. And she goes, "You should put on a bra before you sit at the table. It's just not decent." I snapped. I said, "You know what? I live here. You're the guest. You don't get to police what I wear in my own house. If you're uncomfortable, you can look away or maybe find your own place to stay." She acted shocked, like I'd attacked her or something. Told my husband I disrespected her. Now he's mad at me for causing drama. Apparently, I overreacted and should have just ignored it. But how long am I supposed to stay quiet while someone basically slut-shames me in my own damn home? So now, everything's tense. She barely talks to me, and my husband keeps giving me the cold shoulder, like I'm the villain here. I don't even know anymore. Maybe I did go too far. But I feel like I've been tiptoeing around this for weeks, and no one's stood up for me. I had to stand up for myself.
Am I the asshole for going no contact with family pushing me to find a new wife and a new mother for my children? I 31 male lost my wife and the mother of my children 5 years ago. Ever since I have been working on rebuilding myself and my life and making sure my children are doing okay on top of grieving for the love of my life. The three of us have been to counseling, me when my wife first died and my kids when they got a little older as they were 2 and 3 when she died. I did go back to therapy last year to help with some family issues I was having centered around my loss, and that's what brings me here today. I have not dated or been interested in dating since my wife died. I don't know if I'll ever be interested. But I can say right now it holds no interest for me and I personally don't think it will. The first year my family were all great. They gave me and the kids space when we needed it and they came and supported us when it was needed too. My in-laws and them had a pretty decent relationship at that time too, but it changed a little over 2 years after my wife died. The very first time someone mentioned dating to me was 14 months after my wife died. And it was just a question of did I feel like I wanted to date. I said no and it was left alone. But once the 2-year mark hit I was told I was young and needed to get back out there. When I said I wasn't interested, some of my family turned on my in-laws and blamed them. They accused my in-laws of shaming me into staying single for the rest of my life and of pressuring me to stay a grieving widower for the rest of my life. I corrected my family who were saying those things, but it permanently fractured the relationship between the two sides. I took some time out from my family, explained why their behavior bothered me, and I asked them not to push or to bring it up again. I said if I date again it will be my choice and when I am ready and not because other people have a timeline because of my age. They were better for a couple of years, but then it did come up again. I told them to stop trying to be subtle and focus on something else. That I was capable of deciding if and when I want to try dating again. This was also when I went back to therapy and again it eased off. But then during a birthday party for one of my nephews, a couple of family members asked my kids directly if they didn't want a new mom. It pissed me off, but my kids' answer of no made me laugh a little because my family acted so shocked. That one word answer really caught my family off guard. I took the kids home after that and I told my family that was unacceptable. I got responses back that they were just looking out for us and leaving was a bad move, etc. So I told them it was time to put distance between me and anyone who can't accept my decision not to date right now. I told them anyone else who wanted to pressure me or use my kids like that I would also be no contact with. I blocked quite a few family members. Anyone who doesn't mention it isn't as bad isn't yet. I did have one relative ask why I couldn't just ignore it and why I had to go no contact. I told them bringing my kids into it was going too far and I had given them more chances already, but they wouldn't stop. I told the relative I am old enough to make the decision for myself. They told me they didn't agree, but it's up to me. They said they thought I was being too harsh when the family's actions come from a place of care.
Am I the asshole for refusing to take classes to help me take care of my autistic stepbrother? My mom's husband has 2 kids. My stepbrother Jake is 9 and my stepsister Ella is 7. My mom and her husband have been together for 5 years and married for 2. 3 years ago my mom joined her husband and Ella in classes to learn how to care for people on the spectrum. It's supposed to cover a bunch of stuff and educate on having family members on the spectrum, so it wasn't just about caregiving. I 17 male was literally dragged along but didn't take them seriously and never passed the classes. For one, I didn't want to be set up as a babysitter for Jake and Ella. The other thing was I resented all the changes we had to make for my mom's husband and kids to move in that accommodated Jake. My mom's husband said they wouldn't move in together if I didn't take the classes, which was also what I was hoping for. Clearly that didn't work. And now they lost their regular babysitter who could take care of Jake, so the pressure is on me to take the classes and pass this time. I'm refusing and I offered to live with a family member if they weren't okay with my decision. Mom said no and she's not pushing me away. I told her she needed to let this go then. Her husband said I'm being an ass to Jake and he deserves better. I told him I already accommodated a lot for Jake and it should be my choice, whether I step up to be a fit babysitter or not. My mom begged me to reconsider and she told me the babysitting will be off the table. But to pass them to show I want to learn how to interact with Jake better.